So I had to take down video episode number 2 because of a copyright infringement, but this is a great replacement because I also have my friend Brittany here with me, who's also an entrepreneur. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
Thanks so much for having me, Mair.
You're welcome.
We are lucky enough to have done a bunch of pop-ups together and launch.
Yes.
So it's really nice.
She's also in the Hilton. Don't let her fool you. She's pretty awesome.
So it's really amazing though to have female entrepreneur friends. But yeah, my company is Rosehip Essentials, and it's a skincare company. I started it probably. Well, the seed was probably planted when I was about 7 years old, and I started looking after my skin because my mom was an esthetician. So I always had that, cleansing, exfoliating, toning idea. And then as I grew up, I became more conscious of what I was eating and eating organic and natural. So I created a skincare that was natural, but also effective, to be similar to the spa products that my mom always used. So yeah, it started there and it's grown organically, and I'm very proud of it, and it's really an extension of myself. So I think
I love that. The best brands are when the owner is into it and just it is an extension of me. I live in my brand. And we wanted to talk to you guys about time management. What did we?
Yeah, a little bit about time management for sure.
Okay, you can kick that off.
Okay.
Because she's also a mom.
Yeah, so this is where things get challenging, as we all know, is just finding time. And I think that being a mom, I have 2 little girls. And a husband.
Hey.
And I think that's where you really need to kick it off, is you need to have a very supportive partner if you want to be an entrepreneur, because there's going to be a lot.
So what if they get that itch to be an entrepreneur later in life, already have kids, already have a husband's not an entrepreneur?
I think that's okay. I mean, I think that just in general, you need to be with a partner who's going to support you, especially if
so marry right the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't think anyone should hold anyone back from doing something that they love, especially when it's beneficial for lots of different areas.
And their family.
Yeah, but it does become a challenge because, you have to put your family first.
Right. So what about the people who have a job and want to have a side hustle? How do they manage the time? Because this is where I failed. When I started Mair never left the front seat. And so I would always work on my Mair brand while on the job.
Ooh, okay.
So help those people out.
Yeah. I think that, your evenings are so valuable, and people don't really utilize them, I think. There's so much, come on, are you going to start your business or are you going to watch Netflix? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to figure out what's more important. So I definitely utilize the time after my kids go to bed and the time while they're at school for, a couple of hours. But I think you always have to remember too, I think it's Tony Robbins that says that it's 80%, it's only 20% of your time when you're actually doing things that the most important things get done. So, you need to try and focus on what's really going to help your business. I think social media is something that eats up so much of our time.
I know.
So I like to just put that on pause and just not check my phone. Having set times during the day is really good to check emails and social media, but you can waste your whole day.
I have a dead time. So I have it to where at a certain time, I'm not going to tell you what time, there's a certain hour in the day where my both phones go on airplane mode. I'm not reachable, don't even try.
Well, that's good. Can you do that automatically?
Yeah, well, no, you got to set it yourself.
Okay.
You got to do it yourself.
That's good. That's good to know. That's a good one.
Okay, so what I don't know what some new entrepreneurs, how they manage the time and, how to start. How much
another
time
good one, I would say, I don't think you need to dedicate that much of your time. I think if you have, a friend of mine told me, when she's doing a PhD and she's also a mom, And she said that she works for 45 minutes at a time, and then sometimes longer if she's really into it, but she also leaves something in the middle of what she's doing.
Right.
So that she kind of has something to jump right back into. You don't have to kind of get organized. And another thing, just trailing off that, is having your to-do list ready the night before.
Ooh,
that way
I
you
do
can
do
wake
that.
up
I do
and
do
just
that.
boom, whoever you need to call, whatever you need to do. But I don't know, I found the things that have like really launched my business have been reaching out to people, and the connections you make. Like
I always
that
say,
doesn't take a
seek
long
it
time.
out. If you don't know the answer, seek it out, because there's someone in your circle that does know. If you don't. Okay. Keep going.
But also,
you're on a roll.
Well, I mean, just also being present during the other times.
Right.
Like I don't want to be on my phone while I'm putting my kids
Well, let
to
me
bed.
ask you
I feel
something,
like that's-
because there's a whole stigma that you can't be successful if you are not working on your business full time, which I kind of agree, kind of don't. So when I was working a job, honestly, if I still was working a job, Mair probably wouldn't be where it is today. That's the truth. But just because I have the free time to think on my brand 24/7. But those people that, have bills, got in entrepreneurship a little later in life, how do they manage their time?
Well,
It's a good one.
I think that you have to at least focus on what you need to get done that day, and then like a little bit of creative time.
So you're saying write it down, have a plan, work in the 10 to 2.
Yeah, or also like the evenings, right? Like even if you work from say 9 to 10:30, it's not a lot of time, but sometimes just carving out that extra like hour and a half in the evening can be, really beneficial in the long run.
Hi. A friend of mine would always say, Mair, it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point. I think that we also need to enjoy, enjoy time with your kids. Enjoy, you'll never get this day back. Enjoy doing what you love. Have time
Enjoy the
away
process.
because you need to be present in whatever you're doing, So try and divide it like that, where you have your fun time or you have your personal time and you're focused on that, and then you have your work time, and you're not playing around on social media. You're you're just focused for that little bit of time that you need to get what you need done. And
That's nice.
when you only have a little bit of time, you just have to get it done.
Especially with kids. She's a
yeah,
mom.
yeah.
And so, like, people that have, my arm's getting tired, y'all, because I left my Joby stick. Actually, I misplaced it, so I don't know where it is. But for people who have service companies, and we both have product companies, but for people who have service companies and, it's consulting hours and someone's calling them at like 2 at night, or 2 at night, 2 in the morning, what do they do in that case?
I guess it just depends also how badly you need the business. Like if you're
Yeah.
just starting out and you need it, like you better answer that call.
Yeah. So while we were walking here, thought about a few scenarios. What about the people that have brands that are primarily Instagram focused, and they spend a lot of time on Instagram? How would they manage their time?
Well, I do think that's an important point. And I think that you need to look at where your strengths lies. So personally, I love being face-to-face with people, and I am not into, unfortunately, I need to get a lot better at it, but I think that it's so much better for someone like me to hire out for that, because you also have to really look at where your strengths are and then try and hire around that. Because for example, like I'm not gonna learn graphic design. Like I could learn a little bit of it, but you need to, you're only as strong as your weakest link. You need to.
That's a nugget right there.
It's a
That's
nugget.
a tweetable. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. That's tweetable.
So I think that personally for me, social media, spending 7 hours a day on social media does not make sense. So I would rather have someone who knows how to do it in 1 hour do it for me.
Right. For me, that thing is photography. I'm not a photographer. My visual conception for my brand is very specific. So I definitely hire for that. But I know a lot of...
That's important because especially if you're online, I mean, you need to have good photos. That's something to think about.
There are people that are like, oh, well, Mair, Brittany, I can't afford to hire around my strengths. Well, there's something called bartering. Maybe you've heard of it.
Bartering can work well.
Right. There's something called internships. Maybe you've also heard of it. High schools are the breeding ground for internships because they just want to learn at that point. And they're moldable. They're still moldable at that age.
I haven't done that yet, but it's probably absolutely. And I mean, I think that people are always, especially people who have achieved a lot, are often really willing to give you good advice, if you just ask. So I think there's a lot of value in that too. And then you just got to keep at it.
Sweet. Thanks.
Awesome.
I don't know. Do you want to sign off or?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.
Yes. Thanks for doing this with me. Bye.
A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen.